Hey everyone, it's Miss Larson. Just wanted to let you guys know that we are doing our very first video today. We're going to go over the distributive property today and then combining like terms tomorrow. If you have a printer handy, I would print out these notes that I've posted to Schoology that look just like this. If you don't worry about it. This is all stuff that you could easily get down on a piece of notebook paper if you want to do that while you're following along. But I would take some type of notes. Remember that you can use your notes on your quizzes and tests. So just make sure that you are following along and you're keeping your notes nice and organized. So today we're going over the distributive property. So just as a quick reminder, I know most of us remember probably a little bit about the distributive property. Think about what the word distribute means. Okay, it means you're assigning something to every member of a group. Okay, so think about this example here with the gift. It's outside the parentheses, so each member of the group is going to end up with that gift. All right, so think about what that means when we put this all into math terms. All right, so we have some variable, okay, some number, something outside of our parentheses. And when we're distributing, remember we're always multiplying. Okay, so we're going to end up multiplying the A with the B and the A with the C. So A times B and A times C. So what this is going to look like is something like this. This 5 times X and then 5 times 2. So 5 times X gets us this 5X. 5 times 2 gets us 10. Try and remember some of your combining like terms rules. When you have something with the same variable, you can add it together. But here we've got an X and then no variable here, so they're not like terms. This is our final answer. All right, so let's go into some examples here. All right, use the distributive property with addition. So we're going to rewrite this expression without parentheses. All right, so this 8 on the outside of our parentheses times this X plus 9. So 8 times X and 8 times 9. All right, so 8 times X, that's going to give us 8X plus 8 times 9 is 72. All right, these aren't like terms, so that is our final answer there. All right, most of these are fairly simple. It gets a little bit more tricky here with one of these subtraction problems. Okay, so use the distributive property with subtraction. So let's think about this problem here. This 5 times this X minus 6. We have our 5 times X, and then let's think of this as 5 times negative 6. Okay, so 5 times X is going to give us 5X, and then our 5 times negative 6, well, that's going to give us negative 30. All right? So don't trip yourselves up. Don't think just because there's a negative here, there's going to be a negative in your answer. All right, think about what if there's a negative on the outside of your parentheses. All right, so think of it like 5 times negative 6. We end up with that negative 30. So 5X minus 30. All right, you can take a minute. Look at those B problems on your own. See if you can get those B problems. I'll post all the answers to our notes here on Schoology. All right, and all these try it problems. I am going to do one of these with you, this number 6. So see here on our parentheses, we've got 1, 2, 3 terms here inside the parentheses. Well, the rule with distributive property is we have to distribute what's outside of the parentheses to every single term on the inside. Okay, so it's the same process. we've got 5 times c squared. That's going to be 5c squared. 5 times c is going to be 5c. And then 5 times negative 3, I ran out of room. 5 times negative 3 is negative 15. So I'm going to have this minus 15 right here. These aren't like terms. Okay, it's the same variable, but not the same exponent. Okay, none of these are like terms. So we've simplified right here. Okay, keep in mind the easiest thing to mess up when you're distributing is that positive and negative sign, so make sure you aren't getting that confused. All right, and let's move on. I think I've got one more example that I want to show you. Maybe two. All right, when we've got a negative sign on the outside of our parentheses, it's going to work the same way, but we've got to be extra careful that we're distributing not just a 2, but here on the outside we've got a negative 2. Okay, so we have to think, what is negative 2 times x? It's negative 2x. All right, negative 2 times 1, negative 2 times 1 is also negative 2. So I've got negative 2x minus 2. That's why you want to be careful. It's not just bringing down the same sign as you see in your parentheses. All right? You have to make sure you're distributing and being careful with those plus and minus signs. All right? Go ahead and circle that. That's your final answer. You can't combine any of those terms. And then here on C, I just want to show you this negative on the outside. If you want to think of this as negative 1, all right, we don't have to write the 1 there. It can just say negative. But a lot of times that's going to just be written as that negative sign. So you want to think of it, if you can, as negative 1 that you're going to distribute to both of these terms. All right, so negative 1 times x, that's, you could think of as negative 1x. You don't really need that 1 in there, though. We can just write this out as negative x. Then negative 1 times negative 1. Okay, negative times a negative, that's going to be a positive 1. Okay, so negative x plus 1. These aren't like terms, so we're going to go ahead, and that is our final answer there. All right, I would go through and make sure you can do all these problems here in the notes. I'm going to post these answers here to Schoology, and then make sure you get that distributive property assignment done as well. That can be, you can either print that worksheet out or you can do all that on another sheet of paper, but make sure you go ahead and submit that to Schoology. All right, I'll see you guys tomorrow.